Hello there from Habana. We're here on the Habanos Festival at the trade fair, and I'm very happy to have Amir Saarony with me. He's a well-known cigar expert, and he will launch his new book, Partagas El Libro.
The history of Partagas in Cuba.
History of Partagas in Cuba this evening, so he really knows a lot about cigars, so I'm happy to have him here. Hi Amir, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, my pleasure.
So, what I like to know from you is how do you store cigars, and or let me start from the beginning. What do you prefer? Smoke fresh rolled cigars, or do you like aged and matured cigars?
Personally, I prefer aged and matured cigars. I'd say 90% of cigars actually improve with age. There are a few cigars, more the ones that are aromatic as opposed to taste-centric, that do benefit from being smoking fresh. But 90% of the cigars, I think, only improve with aging.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So, but why do you prefer to smoke aged cigars? Is there any special about aged cigars?
They're very special. Aged cigars are easiest compared to good wine that has been given the time to mature. A fresh cigar, you can taste all the different flavors that have been put in to give the character of the brand, whether it's cedar or, you know, honey, chocolate, cinnamon. I mean, people have different ways of describing the individual flavors, but when you allow the cigar to rest in appropriate conditions and you give it time, what happens is all those flavors blend into one unique flavor, and that is the uniqueness of each different cigar. And in order to enjoy that, to experience that, you need to have the patience and store the cigars properly and give them time and let them mature.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So, what would you, how would you explain to a cigar novice why not only to buy or to smoke cigars directly from the retailers, walk-in humidor, but also to store and mature at home?
Well, I wouldn't say I would tell them not to do it. It's their own preference. It's their cigars. I would advise them, if they want a fuller experience with their cigars, to store them at home in appropriate conditions, to give them the time and to be patient with them, and to let them age and mature, as I said previously. That is why many aficionados, and I use the term reluctantly, but many cigar lovers will actually pay premiums for cigars that have been matured properly and have aged.
Okay. Well, proper cigar storage needs some special conditions. Well, you can put cigars just in a wooden box and close the lid. So what is important with proper cigar storage?
Well, as you know well, you're trying to create an environment to allow the cigars to mature properly. The most important factor, of course, is the relative humidity, because you don't want them to dry out. If the oils in the tobacco dries out, then that maturing process doesn't occur. But if you have a proper humidor that has a proper seal and construction, and you have a proper humidification system, then this will allow the cigars to rest in the appropriate conditions. Many people are scared by saying, well, why do I need to invest in a humidor or in a proper humidification system? Because it can, depending on the size you need, the size of your collection, it can become an investment. But all I say to them is very simply, what's the value of the cigars that you're putting in the box? And then all of a sudden it seems like a relatively small and appropriate investment. But the important thing is the construction, to make sure the seal is good, to make sure the wood is correct, and that your humidification system functions properly and you monitor it.
Okay, how would you recommend to see if the humidification system is working properly? So because you only know it afterwards. So what would you recommend to look for when buying a humidification system or high precision hygrometer, for example?
Well, I mean, you absolutely need an hygrometer, and my recommendation would actually be a digital one as opposed to an analog one with the springs, because they don't need to be calibrated. For most cigar smokers, it is easier. But the important thing is just to have a humidification system and a hygrometer to be able to check it. To check it on a regular basis. It doesn't take a lot of maintenance. It just needs to get a routine where you check it, you make sure that you have the distilled water in the humidification system, or glycol if you're using it. It doesn't need constant attention. It just needs the proper attention. So it's not a lot of work.
Okay. So, thank you very much. I hope this information is useful for anybody out there. We're having quite a lot of fun here on the trade fair. Well, thanks, Amir, for the time, and see you perhaps this evening.
Absolutely, I hope so. And good luck to you in the show. I mean, the humidors are wonderful, and I love them. The only problem I have is they're too small for my collection. But
Thanks.
I wish you
Thanks a lot.
luck in the show.
Thank you. Have a good day.